What's up, guys? Welcome back to Road to the 2 Comic Club. Justin here, and this is another 2-day recap video for you guys, June 20th and 21st. So let's just try to keep it as short as possible so we can get caught up. So let's get into it. The stocks were doing fairly well. They started good, then they came down a little bit, but overall was a pretty good day. We made about a little over $1,200, so that was nothing to complain about there. Some notable stocks that did well, we had Netflix. Did very well. It went up $11 a share that day. And then Amazon went up $15 a share. Then Tesla went up $9 a share. So really, really strong days with them. Oh, and then Facebook went up $4.51. So awesome day for them. We did do a trade, so I want to talk about that. So you know how I did all those trades the other day? Sold a bunch of calls because I was worried the stocks were going to go down. Obviously, very upset that they went up, obviously, the next day. So really annoying. But I did get back into AMD. It was only like 5 cents cheaper. I believe it was like around $16.51 a share when I sold the call. And then I bought 10 calls, same expiration, January 2020, $17 strike this time. And AMD was trading about 5 cents cheaper when I bought it. So $16.46 when I bought in. So my goal to get back into all these positions is to try to get back into them at a lower price when the stock is trading lower. So I'm not keeping track of the option prices, but I'm assuming if the stock's going down, the option prices are going down too. So that's the goal right now for that. And so far, so good. We got into AMD a little bit cheaper. So I'm going to keep an eye on the rest of those positions that I sold. And I'm going to try to get into those, over the next week or so as the prices go down. I'm hoping they go down just because of the tariff threats that Trump initiated. I'm expecting the prices to go down. So obviously I was very wrong on the next day because a lot of prices went up. So there goes to show you, you're not always going to be right 100% of the time, but I'm trying to be patient, and usually I'm not this patient. So I'm trying to be as patient as possible. We'll see if it pays off. So let's just go to the positions. We have our biggest gainer was Disney and Google. So Disney went up 14.5% and our Google call went up 17%. So that was a good day. And also, actually, NVIDIA was our highest nominal gainer. Even though it only went up 7%, it did go up $1,100. So that was probably our best one in terms of money. And you can see the second page here, a little smaller gainers here and there. They all add up, though, to do really well. Third page, we have Roku and Twitter and Intel did very well. So that was awesome. The next two pages, I didn't correct anything, so they could be wrong. I'm not sure. That GoPro one maybe is right, but again, it's not worth anything at this point, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so here's the third to last page. Our Sprint call did go down a penny, which was half of what it was worth yesterday, so that went down 50%, but other than that, nothing really that crazy. Here's the second to last page. You can see not a lot of movement with these calls, and then the last page, our Starbucks call we did lose. So that was the one that I was gambling on. I don't know if I was paying attention at the time of when the expiration was because I forgot that I bought a really short one. Although I can't remember at the time, but we did lose the entire amount today. So that gamble didn't pay off. I should have sold it yesterday. I would have made a little bit of a profit. But yeah, you got to really, when you buy those short-term calls, you got to be really, really on top of that. If you forget, you probably will lose everything. So yeah, so definitely got to pay attention to that. But so in terms of news, again, I mentioned this in the last video. The Dow futures were up as the trade fears ebb was the headline. But I'm going to talk about that later on. GE did get booted from the Dow. So that was kind of interesting piece of news. And let's just go to let's see what else we got. What about Amazon? Dow Industrials dumping GE for Walgreens. So they did add Walgreens to the Dow. So I forgot to mention that. So that was interesting. I'll post links in the description for these pieces of news in case you missed out on them. Let's just keep moving. With Adobe, we have an article. Has Adobe systems outpaced other computer and tech stocks this year? Answer to that, short answer is yes. And I'll post some links in the description. Adobe did complete their Magento buyout, expands market share. That was the next headline. So if you missed this in the previous video that I mentioned, or you just missed it in general, they did buy an e-commerce company, Magento. I forget for how much. I think it was over $1 billion, like 1.6. That's what I think. I can't remember. But anyways, I'll link to that in the description so you could read about that in case you forgot. And then, yeah, I think that Warren Buffett stocks headline, I couldn't find the exact full article for that one. So let's just go to Amazon. Let's see. There's a link that these stocks have left Amazon behind. I think that's a Wall Street Journal article. I don't know if the full one was in there. So another interesting headline I thought was Alexa goes to college, Northeastern University giving Echo Dots to students. So that's kind of cool if they made a deal. I don't know if they made a deal with Amazon or if they just bought a bunch from Amazon, but they did give some Echo Dots, and this one company, you can read about it in the description, but I think this startup was like programming like custom information in the Echo, so students can ask them, how much money do I have in my food card, or how much tuition do I still owe, or what's my class schedule like. They kind of made it more customizable for the college students. I thought that was awesome. This other article, which is interesting, will Google have the last laugh over Amazon in the home device war? Apparently, according to this article, the Google Home is outselling Amazon Echoes right now. And they've been first to market in a few other areas, especially Spain, they talk about in this article, which Google or Amazon hasn't been able to get into yet. So really good article. I would read that if you're interested in learning more about the home device space and how that's going, because Google is doing really, really well right now, according to that article. Now with Square, this article kind of interested me. Twitter short sellers double down as Square shorts run for cover. Just kind of an interesting article about how shorts are treating Twitter and Square. They're both run by the same CEO, and they're both doing well. And so it's a little interesting how that's going. Square looking in Grubhub's direction. I couldn't find that one. The market realist, it's weird. You have to download a PDF to find it, and it's hard to find even on Google, so I don't always find them. But interesting. If you're long on Netflix or Square, read this. Now I wanted to talk about this one because this article, they were actually correct. They said that at this point in time, how Netflix was closing over $416 a share or something like that, they said it did surpass the 20% threshold. So they usually, and I haven't looked too much into this, but according to like the chart experts and stuff, when a stock creates like a flat base or something they call it, which can signal a buy point, once you get into that buy point and you buy, if the stock goes up 20% from that buy point, usually they recommend that you sell some of your shares to kind of lock in some of that profits and take some profits off the table, because they say oftentimes after a run-up like that, it'll pull back a little bit before it goes up more. So I thought that was interesting because by the time you're watching this, and I'm filming this later on, so we all know that Netflix did go down. So that was a good call on their part. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out for headlines like that. And especially from Investors Business Daily, I do like that site. They seem to be pretty unbiased. Yeah, so I'm going to keep an eye on that because I wasn't paying attention, obviously. I've been doing a lot of editing, trying to catch up. But next time that does happen, if I see an article that says, we're in a buy point, and I note that, and then I do see the stock go up around 20% or so, I'm going to look to take some profits off the table just in case it does pull back. Maybe I'll save some money because I would have saved a lot of money had I sold my Netflix calls at that time. So lesson learned there. So anyways, all right, I think I'm rambling now, so let's just wrap it up. IBD stock of the day, online payment leader, PayPal hits buy zone. I'll link to that, and let's just keep going. Okay, so with Tesla, I'll link to this, but Elon was suing that employee for trying to sabotage everything. And then there was another article, which I couldn't find a picture for or the video, but watch Tesla build a giant tent for its new Model 3 assembly line. I'm sure you could Google that, the Model 3 tent or whatever, and I'm sure you could find some sort of footage about that. But it was pretty interesting. Okay, so let's go to the next day. This is June 21st. Stocks started out well, so you can see how they were green in the beginning, and then they went straight to red, and then all the stocks kind of struggled to come back, except with the exception of Home Depot. On my watch list here on my stock widget, Home Depot was the only one that did well. In the positions, so we did lose about $3,000 that day, so we didn't have many winners, but the puts did pull through for me, so I bought those for protection, and it did help. So the QQQ put went up 11%, so we made about $1,000 there. And then the SPY, which is an ETF in the S&P 500, that put went up 7.5%. So we made money there, offset our losses. We still lost money overall, but I thought that was good that I bought those because I was worried about the trade retaliation from China, and so I bought those for protection. It did pay off this day. There's a second page. I kind of skipped through that, but there's the second page. Not many gainers. Here's the third page. Again, not many gainers. Fourth page and fifth page I didn't really bother to look at because it takes way too long to correct these manually. On the third to last page, Roku went down 10%. Our GM calls went down 18%. And then second to last page, our Boeing calls went down 13%. Not a good day. Overall, it wasn't a good day. So Disney, here's the last page. Disney went down 11%. AMD, 14%. I'm actually surprised that the percentages were accurate this time, because usually I have to correct almost all of them. But this last page is pretty accurate, so I was pretty excited about that. Okay, so let's go to the news. All right, now I want to talk about, I mentioned this before, how people go back and forth with, being scared about the trade tariffs and all that stuff. So I kind of want to point out a couple screenshots here. So these headlines were from 3 days ago. Dow futures fall more than 120 points as Trump, ramps up tariff threats against China. So people are scared about that. Then this was like yesterday early morning. Dow futures up over 100 points as trade fears ebb. And then this was the headline from today. U.S. stocks retreat as trade tensions linger. So as you can see, right here, you can see people go back and forth with this stuff. And it seems to have been a pattern throughout this entire last quarter and a half, at least, or longer. It's just been back and forth, back and forth. And so that's kind of why we haven't really been able to break out. If you've been watching, the vlog for the last, I don't know how much months, we've been kind of stuck between 190 and 200. We haven't been able to really break out of that. And if things don't change and this just keeps going, we're just going to keep seeing, I think we're going to see a lot more days like this. But anyways, yeah, so we're going to leave it at that. I'm hoping the trade, something with trade, we can finally reach an agreement. Otherwise, I feel like it's just going to be like this until that happens. So we'll see what happens. So if you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and now I'm going to edit this video, upload it, start the next one. So yeah, we'll see you on the next one.